So we're relatively close to the big Xbox showcase, and although it is a bit muted in terms of maybe what to expect, like for the Xbox brand or whatever, because a lot of us are expecting pretty much everything to be announced with like a PlayStation logo or Switch logo. So as Xbox fans, that's naturally going to take away some of the excitement or whatever. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are just like, Game Pass enthusiasts that are like, oh, cool, I'll be able to play that or whatever. They like the whole subscription thing. On the other hand, there's a lot of people kind of like me who maybe bought into an Xbox this generation for, big exclusive games. I wasn't even going to get a Series X until they bought Bethesda, and then I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go out and see what I can find there. But anyway, there's a lot of little leaks and things like that. I'd be remiss not to talk about some of these. Maybe some of it might be spoilers if they end up being true, but we never know. So take everything with a grain of salt for right now, and I guess we'll wait and see what happens with that. But let's get into it. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly do appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you guys like, share, subscribe, because that helps out my channel tremendously, and it means a lot to me personally. So yeah, that always helps me rock on and continue doing the content. I do daily gaming content, so if you guys are looking for fun yet informative stuff, hey, look no further than what we're offering right now. So with that being said, it's always a great time to talk about games and gaming in general. And, Microsoft, even though they're not necessarily doing exclusives anymore, doesn't mean they're not going to have a good game lineup or whatever. And maybe even if you're a PlayStation gamer, maybe you're interested in some of the stuff what they're going to be seeing. I mean, it might be exciting to get this big Fable game on PlayStation, if you're what I mean. Like those games, the Fable was a good game back in the day, and I think that this new one looks promising, assuming that they do like character creation or whatever. I think that's the main thing for me. Is like you have to have some kind of character creation there. But a lot of people are wondering what some of the hubbub is and what some of the big leaks are. According to some things that are kind of going around, one of the biggest things that a lot of people maybe aren't even expecting, but is actually going to happen, is this new Halo game is going to get announced. Now, it's kind of mum is the word on whether or not this Halo game is going to be, the next Halo, the continuation or whatever the case may be, or whether it's going to be that Halo reboot or, remake or whatever it is. The entire reason that this remake is happening is because of the PlayStation fan base. They're going to try to lure people in. They don't want people to pick up Halo on Halo 18. They want people to kind of be able to experience it right from the start, and so that's kind of what we're kind of looking at. So I mean, that's if you look at what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is very kind of transparent without being transparent. Like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to do, anybody live this year. There's not going to be any fan fest or anybody there specifically live or whatever. And the reason why they do that is because it's going to be shocking to see, the PlayStation logo on on that IP. It's been such an Xbox thing. It's really I know it's like people go, oh, well, more people get to play it. It's like, to me, it's really a shame to see that go, because I thought that the console, even though console wars can be, I think, a little bit dramatic at times, I think that overall, done the right way, it's like, it's good for the industry. And I know some people might not believe that or might not understand where I'm coming from with that, but just look at like any sports thing, right? It's good for the industry, like sports. Can you imagine sports team? It's just one of those things where gamers are kind of all gonna like one thing or another. It's just natural for people to kind of like one thing or the other, and to me, that's very much kind of what we're looking at right here, is that gamers are going to be excited about one thing or the other, and that they're always going to have a preference. There's always going to be preferences. There's always going to be that kind of thing where people are like, oh man, I really enjoy this, or I really enjoy that. And I think that's like where I'm at with a lot of this stuff. So I think the main thing that's been leaked and talked about is that there's going to be a Halo game there announced, whether it's the next in line or whatever, or whatever, I don't really know. But also, it looks like there's going to be some missing games that we haven't heard from for a while. Chief among them is Everwild. If you guys remember, this game got announced in 2019. It suffered some setbacks and things like that, of course. But rumor has it we're going to see this game crop back up into the limelight. What is this game? I don't really know, but you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to launch day one on PlayStation and maybe even Switch. I'm interested to see what Rare has. I long for the days that Rare will go back to doing, single player games. But this has, to me, this seems like it's going to be another one of those shared world type things like Sea of Thieves or whatever. So we'll see what happens there. The other one, Contraband, you guys remember this? It's supposed to be like a heist game or whatever from Avalanche. It was actually supposed to launch a year or two ago. We haven't really seen much of it. There's been no gameplay. Supposedly it got delayed a bit or whatever. Again, who knows? Like if it's true that it's just a simulator, like a heist game, that game probably would be DOA. So I don't know, maybe Microsoft is rethinking some of the games as a service stuff after the Sony stuff has kind of failed. There's also State of Decay 3, which we could be seeing more of that. Rumor has it that it could be launching sometime early next year. Perfect Dark might get some kind of another look and maybe a release window. Fable, which was delayed into next year, probably to get it on PlayStation. Maybe we get a release date for that. Clockwork Revolution, that's one that I think a lot of people are really kind of, sleeping on a bit. I'm kind of excited about that. Gears of War E-Day, there's rumors that game might be coming out this year. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they pushed it to this year because, Grand Theft Auto got delayed. We'll have to see. Double Fine Studios have been working on something. They did Psychonauts 2, but that was years ago. There's tons of other stuff that they could be showcasing. This might be finally the chance that we get big rumors that, we're going to finally be getting those Final Fantasy games that have gone everywhere else but Xbox, like including like Switch 2. So we'll have to see what kind of stuff like that. Expect a heavy dose of, stuff like, you're going to get a Sea of Thieves update, Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online. There's even a rumor that there's a possibility of Elder Scrolls 6 might get some kind of trailer or something along those lines. There's going to be also the possibility that Microsoft does something with one of those situations where Microsoft really wants people to kind of get into Game Pass, so they're going to lean heavily into Game Pass. I would suspect that most of the stuff they announce are releasing day one on Game Pass, but at the same time, we'll have to wait and see. You know what I mean? They might announce the new controller. They might announce, something. Obviously, we could be seeing, I doubt they do a big hardware thing because it just doesn't seem like now would be the time to do that. It's like you still have over 2.5 years, and it just doesn't seem very smart to like go out there and have a situation where you have an announcement and totally kill what few sales you get now from your platform. So that's sort of how I look at it anyway. I think the big thing is going to be the Halo game, and I think that's going to be kind of shocking enough in and of itself. There's also rumors that we might get one or two big announcements, in general from some of these other places, but we don't know for sure yet. So we'll have to see. Like I said, take everything with a grain of salt. But I'm overall excited to see how this goes, and if Microsoft can, bring the heat. I think obviously they're banking on Game Pass being a big deal, keeping people in line and keeping people with Xbox. So let me know what you guys think and what you expect to see. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.